Good day everyone, I am Angeline Cajales from BSEd English 2B. In today's video, I am going to discuss the two main approaches in a grammar teaching. These are the deductive and inductive approach. Notwithstanding the fact that deductive and inductive approach are two nearly opposite methods when it comes to teaching. This video will focus on a classroom setting where grammar is being taught to strike up the differences and understandable examples. So let's describe and figure out the two approaches, the deductive and inductive. First approach is the deductive approach. So what is deductive approach? The deductive approach is a teacher-centered, which means that the teacher is the one that will control his or her students and is responsible for any and all new material presentation and explanation. That means the students don't have much to do aside from listening and following the rules because the teacher does it all from dropping the rules, giving examples, and then explaining the rules with reference to the examples. To support this basis, Thornberry's three basic principles elaborate that, first, a teacher provides clear definitions and explanation of a certain grammar point or rules using the presentation. The next step is to provide or highlighting examples of sentences where the grammar point is usually used as a means of presenting the students with the most frequent usage of a rule in a certain context. Then students practice the rule providing their own examples at the end of a lesson. Next approach is the inductive. So what is inductive approach? The inductive method is a student-centered, which means that the teacher will only assign tasks to students and will enable them to complete the task. The inductive method involves providing example first and leaving it up to the learner to figure out the rules. The teacher acts as a guide where the learner is at the very center of teaching-learning process. They begin by deducing the structure or rule from the examples and arriving at their own assumptions. Now, let's proceed to the examples of deductive and inductive approach. In deductive approach, the teacher uses PowerPoint presentation to educate students, whereas in the inductive approach, the teacher uses various activities or reports for students to find a way or strategy to complete the given task. Now, let's proceed to the major differences of inductive and deductive teaching. First is the lesson procedure. A deductive approach is based on top-down theory, which the presentation and explanation of grammar rules take the procedure over teaching. The language is imparted from beginning to end, so students initially learn the grammar rules and structure. On the other hand, inductive teaching is based on the bottom-up theory, which acknowledges that language learners prefer to concentrate on parts rather than the whole. Second is the learner rules. The process of learning is experiential. In inductive approach, it is more traditional and descriptive in deductive approach. Third is the role of the teacher. The teacher's role is in front and center in the deductive teaching method. The teacher is the authority of the classroom. She or he does more than teach. She or he also plans lessons, set the rules and examples in order, and then explains everything. The teacher's role changes to that of a guide in the inductive teaching method. Teacher behaves as a guide and helper while students study the grammar rules themselves. Also, the teacher serves the examples and guides the learner's thoughts in the right direction. When to use the deductive and inductive teaching. In deductive approach, first, you are aiming to create a more equal classroom as all students are provided with the same tools. Second, you are teaching a complex concept that is prone to a number of exemptions and is easily confused. Third, you are teaching students individually or taking a one-on-one approach. Fourth, accuracy is of paramount importance in the classroom or a particular lesson. Fifth, time is a serious factor in the lesson. And last, Your class consists primarily of adult learners. Now, let's proceed to the inductive approach. First, you want to ensure that learning is taking place in the hands of the students and they are in command of the reasoning process. Second, you are teaching a simple, consistent, and applicable grammar rule, as it can be more easily comprehended by your students. Third, your students work better in pairs or small groups. Fourth, there are some rules for exploration and discovery in the lesson. Fifth, your students are motivated learners and eager to take on new skills. And last, your class consists of primarily young students, as inductive teaching is generally more favorable for younger learners. Conclusion of deductive and inductive approach. A deductive approach involves the learners being given a general rule, which is then applied to specific language examples and honed through practice exercises. An inductive approach involves the learners detecting or noticing patterns and working out a rule for themselves before they practice the language. So what is the importance of deductive and inductive approach? These approaches are very important because one of them is convenient for certain grammar subjects and certain types of students while the other is convenient for different ones. That's the end of my discussion. Again, I am Angeline Cajoles from BSED English 2B. Thank you for watching.